On November 5th, a majority of voters elected a billionaire under the guise of populism. It's fair to say that Americans' wealthiest individuals secured the most powerful positions and have effectively won the battle for the 21st century. They are set to usher in the most unregulated, pro-corporation era since the Gilded Age. Trump won in large part because of another billionaire, Elon Musk, who turned a social media platform into a right-wing juggernaut of lies and disinformation. While Musk was taking over social media, Leonard Leo celebrated the Federalist Society's takeover of the American judicial system, with his 6 hand-selected Supreme Court justices serving as his crowning jewels. Those justices are delivering victory after victory for large corporations, backed by other billionaires like Charles Koch, who helped gut federal regulations, leaving Americans prey to pollution, financial abuse, and gun violence. The super rich at this point are so powerful. They will make up the majority of this upcoming administration. And they are touting a mandate to cut taxes for themselves while attacking things that protect the rest of us, such as unions, public education, and health care.
It's all misinformation that she's spewing. This woman is so evil and so hateful, it doesn't even matter. Like, I'll give you an example. They're not touting to have tax cuts for themselves. What Trump has said is that he's looking to extend the Trump tax cuts that's already in place. So the average consumer, the average American, which the more money you make, the more money you save. And so it incentivizes you to make more money and be more entrepreneurial and dedicate yourself or whatever, is supposed to affect every single person on the face of the earth as long as you are productive, which is what our tax system is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be progressive when it comes to negativity. It's supposed to be progressive as far as incentivizing you to be richer and more successful, which is what then it, created capitalism and created this environment that's allowed for America to be the greatest country of all time, basically. But let's continue. I want to get to Elizabeth Warren.
Joining me now is a senator really intending to stand in the way. Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts. Senator, it's so good to see you.
It's so good to be here.
Is it too dark to say that the billionaires ultimately won?
I'm not going to give them one yet. I think they certainly are in the winning position. I think they got a ton of power. But you got to remember, there's a lot that still goes on down in the gears. So just today, we actually had a victory. Let's stop and do a smile for a minute. These don't come so often. So you know how there are all these grocery stores out there, and the whole idea is they will compete with each other and keeps prices low. We've known for a long time. In fact, there are only 2.
Yeah.
I get that there are a lot of names. There's Shaw's and there's Star and there's Ralph's and there's Vaughn's and they're just 2 companies that own the 2.
All of them.
And the 2 said, let's merge, right? What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
Yes, we will be a unit company and not have to do nasty things like compete with each other on prices in these different markets. The FTC took them to court, said, no, you can't do that. And today, this very day, the FTC won. Go Lena Khan.
Okay.
Go forces that say we're going to keep some competition in this economy.
Grocery stores are amongst the most volatile, and that a lot of grocery stores go out of business because their margins are razor thin. It's one of the reasons why Kroger and Albertsons was looking to merge, because they need to be able to compete against Walmart. Walmart is actually the person that has the biggest monopoly on groceries because they sell 25% of all groceries inside of the United States of America. And then Walmart is not even looking at groceries to generate revenue. They're looking at groceries to basically be a break-even or a loss leader to get you in a store and to buy other things that have higher margins. So when we're talking about finances and economics, which we cover in Stock Club, y'all should really join the Patreon because it's awesome. You're talking about something way different from a competitive or a competition perspective. It's really about survival in these industries for certain companies that generate revenue. You can have a company do $200 billion in revenue and do $1 to $2 billion in profit for the entire year. And that shows you how razor thin the margins are. So they'll take these things to basically prevent American companies from being able to be more competitive and, have bigger food deserts while at the same time being able to raise prices, because it doesn't mean that they can't control the logistics. It doesn't. It just means that they can't compete against the Walmarts and the big box stores. But this is a woman that is sitting here talking to y'all, and they say allegedly her estimated net worth is somewhere between $10 and $73 million. That means she's a deca millionaire. and she's sitting here talking about victories, trying to paint this thing, and she's a senator. She's in a legislative branch in which they're all rich. She got rich already before she's sitting here talking before y'all, and y'all gonna listen to an Elizabeth Warren and Joy Reid, both millionaires? Get the hell out of here, bro.
I celebrate that partly to remind everybody why it matters, because blocking that merger means at least we still have some competition.
Yeah.
And that's really important. And also to remind you, it is possible to do it. And these regulatory agencies already have law. We don't have to pass new laws. We just have to get people into those places who have the courage. FTC has shown they can do it. Let's keep supporting them.
We've been talking a lot about this Luigi Mangione, the case about the United Healthcare CEO. People are very angry at United Healthcare, I think for good reason, denying care and the whole system. And we were just talking in the previous block, killing a CEO is not the way you change. You have to regulate them, right? And so we've got attempts to try to rein in some of these big businesses. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which was your creation. The Trump administration wants to get rid of it. That is like protecting people from like credit card fraud. What happens if that goes away?
So look, terrible for individuals, but stop and think overall about the social contract. Part of the deal in how we've kept this democracy, this economy, this country on a fairly steady path for more than 200 years has been that those at the top pay a little more in taxes, are a little less rich than they otherwise might be, and everybody else at least gets a chance. And what happens when you turn this into the billionaires run it all is they get the opportunity to squeeze every last penny. And look, we'll say it over and over. Violence is never the answer. This guy gets a trial who's allegedly killed the CEO of United Health. But you can only push people so far. And then they start to take matters into their own hands.
Which just basically shows us how uneducated that she is. If you actually go and read and study, and now that we've been able to trace everything back to him, how he's documented basically his entire journey on Reddit and in his own diaries, and basically has an electronic footprint of what he's been going through. He's basically not even mad at the insurance companies. He was mad at the fact that his doctors couldn't fix his debilitating back and basically fuse his spine back together. So he was suffering with his own health problems, and he was still on his parents' insurance, which he never actually identified United Healthcare. He only mentioned Blue Cross Blue Shield. But his parents is wealthy. They own golf courses. They own nursing homes. They benefited from the very system that they're saying that he's raging against. And so he was on his parents' health care all the way through now, 26 years old, which is when he was supposed to be cut off according to the Affordable Care Act, a.k.a. Obamacare. And so he went off the grid because he had immense back pain, which he didn't feel like he could be fixed. And so as a result, he was radicalized and then went off to do something way more crazy, while y'all are sitting here championing this guy as y'all hero. And so you sitting here making these women and making these politicians think that this guy is a hero, when in reality, he was the one that was really benefiting from American capitalism, because his grandparents and then his parents are the ones that was putting him up and setting him up for success. He just couldn't handle the fact that his body was not able to withstand whatever it was that it was going through. And so he decided to take it out on the system, because he was too weak to endure whatever it was that he was enduring. But he had surgeries. He had all of the best health care. He benefited from the very system that they railing against, that she and her, both millionaires, are railing against. It's amazing to me how she can be so silly and so desensitized and so far removed from what regular people are going through on a regular basis, which is one of the reasons why you got Trump in office, and people like RFK Jr., who was railing against the FDA, that is basically causing a lot of the health problems that we see and have in the society that we have as far as these cultural norms. But Elizabeth Warren is y'all hero?
We need regulation in part to rein those guys in. And you know where this is coming big time ahead of us is on taxes. That the big boys, just like you said, their plan is to rush through this tax plan right at the beginning of 2025, give themselves a bunch more tax breaks, and then put the real burden of running this country An ordinary, hard
that will pay the tariffs. That will pay the tariff. They're going to pay,
They can
and
pay
it's
for it
paying
in
at the
tariffs.
bottom.
They can pay for it in taxes.
Absolutely.
But the whole
More
point is
taxes.
shove the cost somewhere else.
Onto the poorer people
One
and make
more
them
way
subsidize
for
the rich.
billionaires to pick the pockets.
One of the
I'm amazing. Let me know what y'all think, or I'm amazed. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. These people are crazy.